The moment we turn these over, you'll start to see that this one has been pressed inside. Now, what you need to understand is these numbers will continually change. They're not going to be the same forever. There is no room there for you to have any sort of expansion, and usually you've got too coarse a grind, which is reducing the quality of the flavour you're getting. So many people don't change the grind to suit the roast profile that they've just bought or the age of that coffee. Here at Artisti, we sell and service so many different coffee machines and grinders, and commonly we get asked 3 questions that are possibly presenting as issues with the equipment when they're actually something that the barista can fix at home. Now, these issues always seem to present themselves, and they can represent as a machine issue or a user issue. And look, to be honest, it's our job to try and nut into how you make coffee, what are your processes, the beans that you're using, to really clarify if it is a machine or an operator error. And I know that's hard to hear, but to be honest, you can work these things out to see if it is an operator error before you bring in your machine to a service agent and spend a few dollars, and then you get told that you're actually causing the problem. So most of these issues are resolving around grind. So we're going to be talking about how to change the grind and what effects that can have, how much of that ground coffee you're going to put into your basket, and also how often you're going to clean this head to make sure that it's all going to work coherently. So in a lot of videos, we talk about dose and grind and recipe. And we focus on that because it is the cause of most of the issues that people have when they're making coffee at home. Trying to get this kind of basket to work so that you can make great coffee. Again, there's another video specifically on that one, because grind is so important. And a lot of these issues are caused from the grinder and how much coffee you're putting in, the grind particle size, how you're putting it into your machine, and also whether you're cleaning your machine. So you've just gone down and bought yourself a nice fresh bag of beans from your local roaster or from our online store at Artisti, and you pop them into your grinder. And you think that you're going to keep the same grind as you had from your last bag of beans. Well, I'm going to tell you straight up, that is not correct. You need to start adjusting the grind. So many people don't change the grind to suit the roast profile that they've just bought or the age of that coffee. And that starts to cause so many issues when you brew your coffee. So, how do we change our grind to make sure that we're making the most of the coffee? Well, firstly, you need to learn how to change your grind. So let's come have a close look at the collar on this grinder. So here we have the Precision GS7. It's an entry-level grinder with our hopper. Most grinders are pretty similar. All these numbers on the top here are representing a reference point. And then you've got an arrow which is saying we're going coarse or finer on the grind. Now, what you need to understand is these numbers will continually change. They're not going to be the same forever. As you use your grinder more and the blades start to wear, you're actually going to be heading towards the finer numbers all the time, which will actually change that number. So don't think just by resetting it to the number is going to give you the right grind. So here you can see we've got our red marker and it's in the coarse area next to the 19. So you need to look at a lock of some sort. Every grinder is a little bit different. On this one here, it's a spring clip. And as you hold that down, it actually allows you to either go coarser or finer. Most of these grinders, a simple adjustment of maybe 1 or 2 notches finer or coarser is all you're going to have to do to maintain your perfect brew recipe. Now that would be from a fresh bag of coffee that is less than 10 days old from its roast date, or up to maybe a 3-week period when that coffee is starting to age. If you're not going to make these changes, you're going to start to get sloppy pucks or overexpansion. We get overexpansion when the coffee's fresh because it's like a sponge. Water goes in and really expands that coffee, and it actually starts to knock over hoppers. So as we have fresh coffee and we add water to it, it actually starts to expand, and that creates more of a choking issue inside our brew head. So with fresh coffee, we tend to want to go a little bit coarser and maybe change the dose down a little bit. When we get older coffee, we actually probably need to increase the dose a bit and go a little bit finer. So learning to be able to adjust your grind to suit the age of the beans is crucial. While you're in here and playing, I urge you to actually clean your grinder. Clean out some of the mess and understand how to reset that grind, because we do want to make the most of those beautiful beans that you've just purchased. Now, you might not be aware, when you've got a grinder, which is a time-based grinder that gives you a certain amount of coffee when you press it, let's say it's 7 seconds, if you go coarser on your grind, you're actually going to get more coffee for your 7 seconds of time, because the particle size is larger and it's shaving off more of that bean every single time that the blades actually go around. So when you're going finer, you're going to end up with less coffee in your handle. So those two factors are going to dramatically increase or decrease the dose that you're going to put into your coffee basket, which then takes me to the next issue. Sorry for interrupting. I hope you're enjoying the content, and thanks for watching. Have you seen our Home Barista Manual? This thing has everything in it that we talk about through our YouTube channel as a guide that you can use at home and implement simply to make amazing espresso. It doesn't matter if you've got an entry-level machine like this or a high-end coffee machine from Italy, it's going to take your espresso to the next level. We cover things like dialing in a specific recipe for your machine, using some of these really cool tools to eliminate channeling and getting better extraction yields. You're going to be able to learn how to froth silky milk and pour amazing latte art so that you can impress all of your friends. This also has how to clean your machine and care and maintenance. The manual's available on our website as a digital download worldwide. Use the code YTBarista10 and you'll save 10% off our already discounted price. Do yourself a favor, go and download it now. Right, so the second issue that we get presented with a lot is that there is no flow coming through the coffee. And people say there's low pressure. Well, when we say pressure, we think two things. Is it steam pressure or water pressure? Now, the moment that we start to talk about water pressure, it's a bit odd because we start to ask the customer about how much coffee they're putting in, how old the beans are, whether they've got their own grinder and they're actually grinding to order, or are they buying a pre-ground product? Because all of those factors play into how good that flow is going to be. So if we take the handle out of the equation and we start to look at how much water is actually flowing out this head, if we can see there's a visual water flow that's coming through, we can say, okay, that's great, there's water from the pump. So then that tends to tell us that there's an issue with the grind size or the amount of coffee in a basket. So if we're varying the amount of coffee grind that's going to be in here because of our grind change or our dose change, it's going to have an effect on the water and how it comes through the shower screen. Simply, fresh ground coffee in here is going to expand more, put a lot of pressure on the shower screen and really block up. So this is a brand new shower screen that would be in a machine like this, a standard E61 style head. This one here looks pretty similar. Yes, it's a little bit grubby and a little bit dirty, and you can see that there are the two shower screens. The moment we turn these over, you'll start to see that this one has been pressed inside and up, basically. It's starting to be warped and bent. That is being warped and bent because we're putting too much coffee in our basket. The water goes in, the coffee has to expand and go somewhere, so it goes up onto the shower screen and bends this shower screen, forcing the water to not come out evenly. So that's the first issue. We want to make sure we get a lower dose and a finer grind so that when the coffee expands, it only makes it up to usually this basket line or what holds the spring in place. It's a really good indicator to make sure that you're not overpacking your basket. Now, if you've been making coffee for a while, I get it. We've all been taught something in the past, and I urge you to learn a little bit more about how to get the right amount of coffee in dose and the grind size that we're talking about today. Because if you're going to fill up your handle, pop it in your machine, and it's going to be really tight and you're really jamming it on there, well, unfortunately, you've got so much coffee in there that the coffee is coming right up and pushing into this basket. There is no room there for you to have any sort of expansion, and usually you've got too coarse a grind, which is reducing the quality of the flavor you're getting. So go a lower dose, go a finer grind, allow a bit of room here so that you don't have to jam this on. The good test is to fill up your basket how you normally would. If you lock this in and can feel it hitting the shower screen, take it back out, and if you've got sort of an indentation on here by the time you've made that handle get locked in all the way, you've got way too much coffee grind. If you then run a bit of a shot and some coffee grinds come out, that's the other key indicator to show you've still got way too much coffee inside your coffee handle. You're definitely using too much coffee, so you could save a little bit of money by reducing your dose, and you're probably too coarse, because as we use less coffee in a basket, you do have to go finer. So we've covered making sure we know how to change our grind, get the right amount of grind in here so that we're not providing extra pressure to the shower screen. Well, the third one is to clean your machine. And I know we've talked about this before, and it's just a great habit to get into. We always say clean your grinder, clean your machine when you've got your brand new bag that you're about to put in your hopper, so you get to taste the quality of the coffee. You're not tasting your dirty machine. Now this basket here does have a little bit of residue behind it. Now sometimes these are so blocked up with a black coffee tar that no water is going to get through there no matter what you do. Now if you've got this issue in your machine, you're going to start to go coarser and coarser on your grind because you think that the pump's fine, it's just the grind that's the issue. And you might even start to blame those beans that you spent a lot of money on, saying the roast is different or the blend's changed. Well, in this case, it's actually because there is nowhere for the water to come through the shower screen onto that bed of water. And that has caused you to change your recipe for your coffee and not be able to get a really good extraction into your cup. So you can take these shower screens out very easily. We say if you're going to be cleaning your machine, pop it out, clean it up. They're very simple and easy to replace. There's another video if you want to know how to do that on an E61 head, and that will make sure that the water is flowing beautifully through the shower screen, that isn't dinted, and it should look like this all the time, to make sure that there is an area or a gap for the water to come into, to sit on top of that coffee bed, allow it to expand, and brew that perfect coffee for you. So there you have it, the three main issues we get presented with here at Artisti to work out whether it's a brewing issue, a machine issue, or a person issue. Now we do have highly detailed videos on all of these topics, on how to set up your grinder, how to create a recipe, how to clean your machine. So definitely go and have a look at those on our YouTube channel. The links will be down below in the descriptions for you to watch. Now, if you've got any questions about this, please leave a comment down below. I'll happily answer that for you. And if you're in Australia and you love our content, hey, why not support us? We really appreciate it. Jump online, buy some beans, because that's what we love doing. We roast coffee and distribute that all over Australia. We do have subscription models which give you great deals, so we'd love your support. Thanks very much for watching, everyone. I'll catch you next time. Cheers.